Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome to Evolution of Pro Wrestling. I'm Lewis, and this is Jay, my co-host, and we got an exciting episode for you today. But before we go any further, Mr. Man Bun over here, my 14-year-old son, had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to my son, my co-host. He does a good job on this show. So, still got a lot to learn about old school, but that's another story. There's a lot going on in professional wrestling. We've seen a new side of Seth Rollins that many people haven't seen before. He is this like messiah of evil.
Right.
It was just crazy. I didn't understand what was going on, but I like this new look.
Me too.
It makes him crazy. It makes him look mysterious. And by the way, congratulations to Seth Rollins. He's going to become a father. Becky Lynch is pregnant.
Yes.
So that's surprising news. Crazy news.
That is some crazy news.
And they gave Asuka the title, which is good. Christopher Brown says, happy belated birthday, Jaden.
Thank you.
So, that was interesting. That was very interesting that she got pregnant. Asuka got the title, and I think Asuka definitely deserves that title.
I agree.
As much as she did in NXT.
Oh, yeah, she did.
And it was amazing to see that. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view was pretty funny.
It was.
Otis took that title, and I'm like, okay, what's going on now? What's next? So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen with this new Mr. Money in the Bank, Otis.
Now, Dad, I got a question. Who do you think Otis is gunning for, since he has the Money in the Bank in his hand?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Quite frankly, I don't think Otis is going to stay with that briefcase. I really don't.
know.
I think he's going to give it to Mandy Rose. And she's going to turn on him, and she's going to cash it in.
Yep.
That's what she's going to do. So, speaking of Money in the Bank, what is our topic today, Jaden?
Oh, yes. Today we have a great topic. We have an amazing topic. Our topic is the history of ladder matches. We're going to be talking about ladder matches we would like to see, the greatest ladder matches of all times, and ladder matches that are dream matches.
Absolutely. We're going to get your guys' opinions on what matches you like from the past of professional wrestling, and what dream match you would have want to see in professional wrestling that we wish we could have. You know what I mean? Like superstars from today, back then, whatever. One in particular that many people don't remember that was the first ever ladder match was Dusty Rhodes and Tully Blanchard in 1987 in the NWA. Those two were the first two that ever fought a ladder match. And then it went from that to Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title. Now, with those two back, Shawn Michaels, this was going up. Russell Jackson, thank you. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Shawn Michaels was at the beginning of his career as the Heartbreak Kid. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you think that match would have went if Shawn Michaels was in his prime, like the showstopper, Mr. Main Event, against the excellence of execution, Bret Hart in a ladder match?
That probably would have went really well because, Bret Hart was a really good technical wrestler in the ring. And, Shawn Michaels is always the guy to put on the show. So, he would spice anything up. Make sure that whatever he's going to do, he's going to make the fans go crazy, make the fans jump out of their seats. So, most likely, if they were to both climb on the ladder, he'll remake a Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels type thing and kick sweet chin music him off of the ladder. He'll probably do something like that. Or, he'll do his famous elbow drop off of the ladder. Shawn Michaels is a man of many talents and he's a man of many surprises. So you really don't know what to expect from him.
No, absolutely not. You don't. And they don't call him Mr. Main Event for nothing, Mr. WrestleMania.
Right.
Because that's what he does.
Exactly.
Christopher Brown says, as I understand it, Lewis, Becky's due to give birth in December. Yes, she is looking to give birth in December. That's where they have her date. Brian says Otis should go for the NXT title. I think he should do that too. Earl Smith says he should go for Braun. That would be an interesting match with Braun Strowman and Otis in that match. It would be a funny match. It would be cool. Christopher Brown says, I can actually see Brett being relinquished to get into a ladder match back then, Lewis. I can see Owen being more willing to get into a ladder match with HBK. I have to agree with you with that, because it's kind of hard to say the way Bret Hart used to do business back then. He didn't really like to lose back then. You know, he was this superstar. He didn't want anybody to overstep his boundaries. You know what I mean? And Shawn Michaels and him did not get along. Like, personally, they had beef. They had beef. They had real beef back then. You know, so it was tough to say on how it comes about when you see something like that in a ladder match. You know, another ladder match I remember was at WrestleMania 10 involving Shawn Michaels. Best match he's ever had in a ladder match against Razor Ramon. Now, did you see that match?
Yes, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon was an absolutely great match. I think that was the first ladder match that I've actually seen, and that I actually was like, wow, because it was good for an old school match. You know, those guys absolutely put on a show. Razor Ramon did his thing, Shawn Michaels did his thing, but you know, I feel like Shawn Michaels, you know, even if he would have lost the match, I feel like Shawn Michaels was the
he lost the match. He lost the match. So, but I still feel like he did better. But believe it or not, in WrestleMania 10, that was the best match out of the entire card.
It was a really good match. It was a good match.
That's what pretty much set the ladder matches in motion. Once people saw that match, because then came another match with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon at SummerSlam, when Shawn Michaels was not cleared to come back, but still came back anyway, and still kicked ass, beat Razor Ramon, and put on another exhibition in a ladder match. So, Jaden, in your opinion, what do you think it takes to be in a ladder match?
Oh,
the do's and don'ts you do in a ladder match.
Okay, the do's in a ladder match is depending on the size.
I'm so sorry. Before you continue, I just want to read this comment. Okay. Earl Smith says Owen was a high flyer and Brett was a mat-based wrestler. I don't think Brett would have been that good in a ladder match. You're right. Not against Shawn Michaels in his prime. But go ahead. Continue, Jaden.
I feel like the do's in a ladder match is, you know, depending on the size and the strength, keep your distance. Like, make sure that you don't get, you know, double teamed by these wrestlers, because ladders hurt. Believe it or not, ladders hurt.
People think, these ladders are fake. No,
those are real ladders.
I can imagine the training they go through.
But I feel like the don'ts is be careful with who are you hitting the ladder with, because they could retaliate as fast as possible, and then that can cost you the match. But you know, sometimes you gotta prove yourself that you're worthy of being a ladder match material. And sometimes being in a ladder match I feel like a ladder match is more of a match for high flyers, because, you know, they climb, you know, they jump off the ladders, they do these crazy suicide dives, all these things. So I feel like it was kind of built for like a high flyer type thing.
Well, you talking about high flyers, Brian just mentioned a few matches himself. Brian said the match that involves a ladder TLC match, the Hardys versus MMN, which was back then, it was Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury, which was an excellent tag team against the Hardy Boys, and that was a hell of a match.
Oh yeah!
And then the Hardys versus Edge versus Christian and the Dudley Boys. Like,
yeah,
holy
the Dudleys,
cow!
Hardys, and Christian, that was an amazing.
No, but
match.
Remember, Brian, this first started when the Hardy Boys fought Edge and Christian for Terry Runnels' contract. Excuse me, and the Hardys won, but they got a standing ovation after that match, Jaden. Like, it was so amazing. Did the Hardy
Boys make the TLC match?
Yes.
They did.
They did. Mr. Bailey says, good evening, gentlemen. Dark Side of Wrestling is Tuesday, the season finale. It's Owen's hard, deadly fall. Owen fell 78 feet in wrestling greatest tragedy unfolded on live pay-per-view. My question to either of would Vince McMahon stop that match? No, he would not have stopped the match. He would not have stopped the show. That's just Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? That's what he does. You know, being off topic here, that's what Vince McMahon does. The show must go on.
Yeah.
And that's what many professional wrestlers think, you know, sometimes depending on the circumstances. But with a big organization like that, you know, he thought it should have gone on. So, Earl Smith says, I hate to say this, but I never really cared for the ladder matches, I think it shortens careers. I mean, look at what ladders have done to Jeff Hardy. Well, you're right. You're right. It all depends.
He's right. He does have a point about
it
that.
all depends. You know, yeah, they put their bodies on the line.
But I feel like at the end of the day, it's worth it because, you know, that's bringing the business higher because, you know, if the wrestlers would have put on a show, you know, the fans would get more into it. And then, you know, more fans, more views, you know, the more money, I guess, for Vince McMahon or for the company and stuff like that. And, you know, the money is the things that also is half of the reason why the company is still alive. You know, the wrestlers, there may be an empty arena, but still. The ladder matches are absolutely, I think they're absolutely worth it.
Well, David says, hey, Undertaker was in the ladder matches and he was a big dude, the GOAT. Yes, he was. And we actually have him on this list against Jeff Hardy. When him and Jeff Hardy, they fought on Monday Night Raw. Remember when they fought for the WWE Undisputed Championship? And Undertaker actually got his shit kicked. You know, he got his ass kicked.
Yes.
And Jeff Hardy really took him to the limit and made him a star. You know, and after the match, he gave Jeff Hardy some respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was amazing that when you see David and Goliath type match.
Yeah, that's what that reminded me of.
That's what it was. A David and Goliath match.
I feel like my favorite match with Undertaker was when he fought Edge in that TLC match. That him and Edge were going at it. You know, Edge had his little helpers, and then he got thrown through like 4 tables. But you know, it counts as a ladder match since there was ladders inside of the match. But you know, Undertaker is a big guy, but you know he can still throw down when it comes to matches like, you know, TLC matches or ladder matches or stuff like that. Especially since he's a big guy, he can pick up a ladder really easy.
Oh no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. But that's the thing with the Undertaker, that he moves like a lightweight.
Exactly.
Even how big he is. So that's what made the match even so unique, that he did that last ride on him. Christopher Brown says TLC 2 is my personal favorite ladder match. Absolutely, WrestleMania 17. Brian says, replying to Earl, true, but he's still going. Look at what Jeff Hardy has done to Jeff Hardy. That guy can't be stopped. Laughing out, you're absolutely right. Earl Smith says, yeah, but look at his addictions to painkillers and alcohol. Christopher Brown says, Earl, let's not forget that infamous video of Jeff and Matt using a taser to Reba Sky. Brian says, that's what I mean. He's done more damage to himself than the ladder. Exactly. You know what I mean? So if he can take all that damage within his system, he can take it in the ladder. You know, but we wouldn't want him to do that. You know what I mean? He's a good wrestler. He's an excellent superstar. But, you know, people get hurt. They get into their addictions. They get stuff like that. So, but when you mention Edge and Christian, I say these guys are the innovators of the ladder match. Like, they actually fought at one time. Edge and Christian fought one time in a ladder match. I believe it was for the Intercontinental title. So I'm like, this was it was pretty interesting to see them go at it. And many people thought that they were brothers. You know, many people thought, oh, okay.
They did look alike a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, they had the blonde hair going on. You know, they had the glasses. You know, so they did look a little familiar. I still remember the time where Edge speared Jeff Hardy.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 17
off of a ladder. Oh my goodness!
I was like, wow.
Edge took that. Edge, I give 100% credit to Edge. Edge took one for the team. Edge took a big one for the team because he put his body on the wrist, and Jeff Hardy had it bad because he landed on the mat back first. So you know that guy had to be in a lot of pain. So I feel like those two took it for the team, and they put on an absolute show for that match. Well,
Errol Smith says, I seen indie ladder match when the wrestler did a shooting star and landed on the top of his melon, which it was not cute. Brian says that was an iconic moment, Jay. So that's the one you're talking about. And Christopher Brown says, okay, Lewis, here's a question for you. What was the most infamous ladder spot in the WWE match that sticks out in your mind?
What does he mean by that?
Pretty much, what shocking moment sticks to my mind in the ladder match? Michael Robinson, what's going on, brother? Welcome. That's a good question, man. I would actually have to say TLC 2, WrestleMania 17. With that, as my co-host said, when Edge, actually no, when they threw Bubba Ray Dudley and Matt Hardy into a stack of tables.
Yeah,
that is a moment that I see, like, and I'm saying in my mind in that match, how can two human beings even take that kind of punishment when you're getting thrown on two, not one, two tables?
And the crazy part is they were high in the air, and then they landed to the side, and they collapsed on the tables. So I think that was hard.
No, that was hard. That was
hard to take.
Okay, before we continue, guys, going into the show, please share this live video to all your groups, friends, messengers, whatever. Have people come in, have them talk wrestling with us, have them talk about this ladder match, the history of the ladder matches, and all these dream matches that we're going to talk about. Bring them in. We want to entertain everybody. We're available. So we're just share, follow, repeat. So, Jaden, do you think that the wrestlers from today would have been able to deal with these guys in a ladder match?
I feel like a few of them would be able to, take on the likes of the ladder match, but all of these new NXT wrestlers, they're coming into the PG era, and they don't do it like how they used to. They will just slam somebody onto a ladder. You don't see any more ladders break or anything like that. You just see a ladder get thrown at a person, and that's about it now.
Okay. That's true. That's true.
But other than that, I feel like a few people from this era now can probably take on the likes of people that used to be in the wrestling matches, in the ladder matches.
No, absolutely. But Brian says, when HBK jumped off the ladder to Razor Ramon, sticks with me. That was the match where he did a splash on Razor Ramon all the way from the top of the ladder, which was amazing. It was an amazing feat.
I think I seen that.
Earl Smith says there are only 4 tag teams that should even touch a ladder, and that's the Dudleys, M&N, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. David says the Dudleys have had that ECW tracing. That's why they could take that punishment. Absolutely. They did everything.
Oh, that's right. They were
Christopher Brown says, imagine AOP in TLC 2, Lewis. Oh, man, that would have been crazy. Like, the Authors of Pain. The guys that were with Seth Rollins, those big guys.
Oh, those guys.
Imagine those two. Those two in a ladder match.
No, I would like to see them in a ladder match when it was like an era, like when stuff was actually cool in a ladder match instead of just throwing a ladder when the ladder would actually break.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would like to see them in that type of ladder match.
See, okay, Alvin Klein says, happy belated birthday, Jay, but that spear Edge did to Jeff from the ladder was sick. Absolutely. It was very sick. Like, I can still watch that match. Of course, it was an iconic. It was a WrestleMania moment.
That was a WrestleMania moment.
And I can watch that match over and over.
Oh, yeah.
That match it's so amazing when you see something that type of feat.
Now that you say that, I'm gonna watch that match after the show.
Yeah, no, it's a hell of a match.
It is.
It's a really good match. And then let's see here. We got a few more comments. David's Mr. Bailey says, Lewis, I would agree on Owen incident because it was 19,000 people. And if the match would stop, imagine if 3 would witness something like that, people would want their money back. Of course, absolutely. But not to cut you off, Mr. Bailey, but today's topic is the history of ladder matches. We're not going to talk about the Owen Hart situation. He is in this topic, though. And that many people are talking about he should have been in a ladder match, maybe against Shawn Michaels, maybe against his brother, maybe for a heavyweight title. But I never seen Owen Hart in a ladder match.
That would have been nice.
It would have been nice to see him in there. That would have been
nice to see him in a ladder match.
David says AJ Styles in a TLC match. I would pay to see that.
Oh yeah.
I would pay to see. I would pay to see AJ Styles against Edge in his prime.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Prime in a match
right out of my
for
mouth.
the WWE Championship.
Oh man, that was skyrocket. That would boost up the WWE by so much if that match was to happen. Edge isn't in his prime at the moment, but like you said, if Edge was to be in his prime, that match would be sick.
Earl Smith says Ricochet, DJ Z, Ali, Homicide, the guy that played Suicide could hang. Yes, from TNA. I would like to see Ricochet in one of those ladder matches. I would want him to face maybe Shawn Michaels or maybe a Rob Van Dam.
A
Rob Van Dam. You know, those
Rob
two.
Van Dam, he was
Rob
a
Van Dam was
crazy.
the whole effing show.
Yes, he was. He was a great wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what? That frog splash. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that frog splash was a killer. That was like that reminded me of like another Jimmy Snuka splash, except you know he would actually leap like a frog.
Before you continue, Michael Robinson said Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, he was actually in the first ever Money in the Bank.
For the actual briefcase,
for the
right?
briefcase.
Yeah, for the
He was
briefcase.
there, so he did a pretty good job.
He did.
He is muscular, but he still can move.
He can.
David said, yes, my idea exactly, AJ and Edge. Absolutely. And as you said, Earl Smith, he is muscular, but like I said, the man can move. He can still do it. He was able to do it. Christopher Brown says, Lewis, I need you to refresh my memory with regards to ladder matches. In one respect, in his entire storied career, how many ladder matches was Flair part of? One. Just one. And that was at WrestleMania 22 Money in the Bank match. That's it. In my understanding, anyway, that's what I saw.
Yeah, that's from what I heard. He's only been in one.
Earl Smith says, I will watch that now. He replied to David's comment. David also said, RVD, another with that ECW training. Yes.
That's probably why he was able to take all that pain.
Of course. Michael Robinson says Shelton Benjamin was in a ladder match. Yes, he was. He was in WrestleMania 21.
Oh, Dad, this just came to me. You know who I would like to see face off in a ladder or a TLC match? Sabu and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see those two go at it.
That's the death-defying.
Sabu and Jeff Hardy, those are two suicidal, crazy dudes right there in one match.
Of course they are.
Especially Sabu. Sabu also has a history of ECW training. You know, he fought in a barbed wire match when the ring was covered around barbed wire.
No, Sabu's crazy.
Yes, Sabu was insane.
Sabu is crazy.
Exactly.
He's insane.
Sabu can take hits. He can take anything. So I would have loved to see those two go at it at their primes in that specific match.
No, that would have been
a nice
match. A good match.
That would
Earl Smith responds to David, you know, if you're going to put Shelton Benjamin in a ladder match, it's going to be against Kofi Kingston. Well, speaking of Kofi Kingston, I would have paid to see Kofi Kingston against Ricochet in a ladder match.
That would be a nice match. That would be a really nice match.
Carlos, your buddy Carlos is here. He says, Flair never wrestled Abuelo. Brian says, remember the custom black and gold ladder they made for Big Show? Yeah, because that was huge.
That was a real
huge ladder.
That was a really
Christopher Brown says, here, Jaden, I'll give you a ladder match involving one NXT and one AEW wrestler. Ooh. I got one. That's a hell of a match. To me, anyway, of what I got him.
Okay. You want me to say it?
Say ahead. Tell him. Christopher Brown, this is what it is.
Kenny Omega against Adam Cole.
Ooh, Adam Cole, baby! Then David says Sabu versus Jeff Hardy. I pay insane money for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Christopher Brown says Matt Riddle versus Kenny Omega. Okay, that's another good match. Carlos says The Butcher. No, Abdullah the Butcher never did a ladder match. Get out of here. Sarah Clemens says, sorry I was late approving this to Talking with Wrestling. Hope it helps. Do your thing, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We we share professional wrestling. Everybody gets in. We're all winners with the fans.
Yes.
Earl Smith says Darby Allin versus Jeff Hardy. Oh, Brian, what a match.
Kenny
Omega against AJ Styles. Oh, man. Would there be a title involved in that? WWE, Universal, United States, Intercontinental. What's up? You gotta spike it up in there, you know what I mean?
What about Seth Rollins versus Shawn Michaels?
Ooh, in their primes.
Oh, yes.
For the WWE title.
Oh, yeah.
WWE title.
Oh,
that
man.
Would be great.
That would
be great.
Oh, man.
Guys, as we mentioned, please feel free to share our content around your group chat, your page, all over professional wrestling. Keep going. Wow, IWGP, New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's a good title. That's a really good title. I would definitely...
yeah, that would be a nice match.
That would be a nice match. For real. I would have paid to see that match.
That would be a good match.
Carlos says, you guys are great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Michael Robinson even said Adam Cole versus AJ Styles in a ladder match. Oh, man. This is just getting me hyped. Okay, Lewis, this is Anton. This is Antonio Bailey. Sorry about the Owen topic. Ladder matches. If you would pick 6 of the best from the past or the present, who would they be? That's a good question.
6 from the past.
6 from the past and from the present.
I got some of my
from the past or present.
I got some of my 6.
Okay.
In a match.
Okay.
I got Sabu, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Ricochet, AJ Styles, and Aleister Black.
Ooh.
Those are my 6.
In the match?
Yes, all in a TLC match.
But what he's saying with the matches from here.
Oh,
that you've
from
actually
here
seen, that you've actually seen the match.
Oh, my picks.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have 6 of those.
I got 6 of those.
Okay.
You have Rey Mysterio against Eddie Guerrero for custody of Dominic.
I seen that. That was a good match.
You got Undertaker against Jeff Hardy for the WWE heavyweight title. TLC 2, TLC 1, CM Punk against Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy against Edge.
Okay.
Those are pretty good matches.
Yeah, those.
Christopher Brown says Ricochet versus Adam Cole in a ladder match. Oh, 2 great superstars. I'm still mad that they dropped the ball against Ricochet.
I think the people in this era,
I was waiting for Brian to say that match because we actually saw that match in his house at SummerSlam. The Rock against Triple H 1998. I still remember that match. That we went crazy when Triple H won because we didn't like The Rock at that time because he was a heel. It was amazing. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it so much. Christopher Brown says with the money in the bank briefcase on the line. Damn, these are matches like it gives you goosebumps as a fan to hear these type of matches and like. Do you want to see Evan Bourne against Shawn Michaels?
Now, Dad, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like to see 2 wrestlers now fight in the Attitude Era? So basically what I'm saying is, which 2 wrestlers would you pick to compete in a TLC or in a ladder match in the Attitude Era from this era? So back when things were, more hardcore. Which wrestlers would you pick from now to be in one of those type of matches? In one of those type of ladder matches.
I would honestly have to say Seth Rollins.
And versus who?
Edge.
That would be.
I would definitely pay to see that match.
Mine's would be Ricochet and Aleister Black.
Yeah.
I would like to see those 2 go against each other. Aleister Black's.
It's good, man. It's good.
I feel like they both dropped the ball with both of them because they were a good tag team, and then sadly
Earl Smith has a dream match. He says, "I got a match for you: AJ Styles versus Aldis versus John Cena versus Kenny Omega." Oh man, that would be a hell of a dream match. And Christopher Brown says Rollins and Styles to be in the Attitude Era TLC match. Oh, hell
that would be nice.
That would bring down the house.
Yeah.
That would bring down the house automatically.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what makes it so successful. That when you see something like that, you see these guys give it their all. Yeah, we know they're getting hurt. They're injured. They're getting injured. But it's amazing that when you see that type of wrestling style and you see what's going on, like, damn, they're putting on a show for these fans, and you see these fans going in. Brian says Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit Royal Rumble. Yes, I had that on my list. You beat me to it, Brian. Excuse me. That match was very, very good. Very good match. This, like I said, a lot of people don't talk too much about Benoit because of what happened, and I understand.
I understand, but you can't worry about his outside life. Believe it or not, he was a good in-ring wrestler,
but we're not even going to touch that subject. So, despite the fact this match was good that he had, what do you think? Michael Robinson says, what do you think about AJ Styles versus Chris Benoit in a ladder match? Oh, hell yeah. I would definitely pay to see that match.
I feel like those 2.
Absolutely. That's not a problem. That's Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero.
I think Eddie Guerrero could deal with the wrestlers from today. I think he would have been able to.
Oh yeah. I feel like Eddie Guerrero could have. Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero was a star, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was great.
Yes.
Eddie Guerrero.
He was amazing.
Ooh. Earl Smith said Eddie Guerrero versus Shinsuke. Oh man. Shinsuke. I'm still pissed that they screwed up his character.
Yeah, they messed up his.
Like,
I feel like they should have gave him that title.
It was dumb. It was really dumb. Like, he should have won that title at WrestleMania.
And then to make him heel right after, no, I didn't.
I didn't like it.
I didn't either.
I didn't like it at all. I wasn't fond of it.
No.
I'm like, but you know, hey, WWE does what they do. That, you know, hey, what are we gonna say? You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's other matches that I've seen, Jaden, that caught my eye was when I mentioned CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. The reason I say that is because that was the match that Jeff Hardy actually retired after that match. Like, it was a match that if you lose, you leave the WWE. And that's what happened with Jeff Hardy. You know, Jeff Hardy was at the brink of addiction. You know, unfortunately, that's what he had. You know, that's what was going on, and his demons cannot, you know, been withstood. But still, you know, it was pretty good.
It was a pretty good.
It was still a pretty good match. You know what I mean?
Really
I enjoyed it.
I did.
Many people enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was a really good match.
So I'm gonna give you 3 dream matches, ladder matches, and you can add any stipulation to it, any title to it. Go.
Okay, first one would be Seth Rollins. I think I named like 2 of these earlier. Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels. Both of them at their primes, like the showstopper Seth Rollins, you know, in a TLC match when the WWE title and the World Heavyweight title were split before they actually made them into both titles. I would like to see them go against each other for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. My second one is Jeff Hardy and Sabu, and you know, a regular TLC match. Probably.
Hold on. I'm so sorry, Jaden. I'm so sorry. We just got a heap of comments here with these dream matches. On Mr. Bailey, he had mentioned. Let me see if I can find that comment. Okay, I'm sorry, I think it went down. All right, Christopher Brown says, how about Eddie versus Kalisto versus Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke versus Ricochet versus AJ Styles in a six-pack ladder match for the Universal title? Wow. I would definitely pay to see that match. Without a shadow of a doubt. See that match. Adam Page against Steve Austin, I don't think so. Steve Austin is not really a ladder match person. Adam Page maybe, because he's more athletic. The Hardys against the Young Bucks, yes, absolutely. I would definitely see that. And he says HBK will kick his butt.
I mean, I feel like I agree. If HBK was to be at his prime, yes, he would absolutely tear the house up with Seth Rollins. He would probably destroy Seth Rollins because, you know, he was the showstopper. You know, he was the stuff back when he was actually at his prime. That's how he got the name Showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, you know, Mr. Main Event, all those names. So, yeah, I agree.
Well, he is one you can never forget, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, not at all.
He is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. Replying to Christopher, Earl Smith is replying to Christopher. Any match with Eddie and AJ will rock. Absolutely. John Morrison against Seth Rollins.
That match can still happen.
Oh, absolutely. Because John Morrison is there.
Yeah, that match.
Christopher Brown says, Earl, if you think about it, it's sad that we can come up with better matches than WWE, than current WWE creative laughing out loud. Absolutely. Absolutely. But they don't see it. They don't see it that way. You know, it's like I said, when back then, when wrestling was wrestling, people were able. You had your faces against face. You had your heel against heel. It did happen back then. It wasn't this person's this and no. The only star they had the main star was Hulk Hogan, but they had their other good stars. They had Paul Orndorff. They had Bobby Heenan, Andre the Giant, blah blah blah. You know, all these major superstars.
But it's good though because they were all special in their own ways. You know, they all got the spotlight in their own ways because these guys are all known.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. Now is that one person doesn't want to put another one over.
That's what I'm saying. Like one person wants to get talked about the most.
That's
one
what I'm
person
saying.
Doesn't want to get talked
if
about
Seth
the
Rollins
least.
wants to do a ladder match with Drew McIntyre, maybe Drew McIntyre doesn't want to get beat, or he doesn't want to put Seth Rollins over, or Seth Rollins might not want to put Drew McIntyre over. So it's kind of hard now. But back then, when we see stuff like that as fans, you know, you want to see a good match. You want to see somebody get put over because that's what professional wrestling is about. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to go down. Earl Smith says, would love to see Rollins, Ziggler, Morrison, and AJ. It could still happen.
That could still
You
happen.
have those main superstars in the WWE right now. I just wish now Vince McMahon should pull the trigger on whatever he needs to do to get these fans back watching on TV.
I feel like they should bring the Attitude Era back. I guarantee
they're not going to.
I guarantee if they were to bring the Attitude Era back,
they're not going to. When was the last time you seen an actual ladder match on televised TV? On Monday Night Raw, on Monday on Friday Night SmackDown, you don't see him anymore.
You don't see any.
Back then,
you don't see any table matches. You don't see none of those.
In the Attitude Era, back then, you saw Rob Van Dam against Eddie Guerrero, two of the greatest of all time in a ladder match. You had let me see, Rob Van Dam against Jeff Hardy in a hardcore ladder match. Another great match that was there. There was many great matches in WWE on national TV.
You will see, yes.
Now you don't.
They don't have any of those things.
And then Christopher Brown says, that's not a bad match. Earl Lewis, as a fan, we don't want our intelligence assaulted, but with Vince paying these Hollywood reject scripts writers, it's difficult. Of course. These guys, we think we don't know that. Let me see if I can bring this right. They think we don't know what's going on. They think we don't know about professional wrestling. We're fans. We watch professional wrestling. We visualize what we can do. But they think, you know, okay, I went to school, I did this and this and that. I'm a script writer. No, you have to do what the fans like. Look at the face and I was one of them when Bray Wyatt came out to the Firefly Funhouse. How did we react to that at first?
At first, I didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
But when I seen the twist, I was like, okay, this is actually starting out to become good.
Better.
This is actually becoming good.
Exactly. Earl Smith says you're going to have a better crew to bring it back. Of course. Because the wrestling superstars now, they don't.
I'm not trying to, take nothing away from these stars, but some of these superstars are really soft now. There's a lot of these stars that, like you said, they can't take as much pain as the people that used
back then.
So yeah.
David says Shinsuke versus Styles versus RVD versus Tajiri versus Sabu versus Kalisto or Rey Mysterio in a ladder match. The innovation during that match, of course. That match would be so epic.
Yes.
That it was. Oh man, it will bring down the house. And Earl Smith says Usos versus the Briscoe brothers. Yes, I would pay to see that match too, because I know who the Briscoe brothers are. So Earl Smith says they aren't hungry anymore. No, you don't see them anymore. You don't see these wrestlers hungry anymore to please these fans, to put what they need to do on the line and do what needs to be done. That's the problem now in WWE and professional wrestling, period. You don't see that now.
Right.
That's why I say to this day, and my son always disagrees with me and gets upset with me, but I am an old school person.
No, I don't get upset with you anymore. I still feel like, I think some of the old school is better, but I'm still, a type of a new school kid. So yeah, I do disagree with you, but I'm also on the agreeing side with you.
Okay. All right, this is for you. Christopher Brown says, Jaden, you have to realize Vince doesn't want any of the current stars to get as big as Cena, Dwayne, etc. If you put anyone in a ladder match, where are they going to shine? Take it to the next level. Vince will let them do it. Exactly, because now it's all about being politically correct.
Right.
This is all about the PG era. Come on. You do what's best for the fans. Get some ladder matches. They should even with this Intercontinental Championship tournament on SmackDown, make the last match a ladder match. Make it interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring it back. Put some good people in there too.
In that case, if you don't want, kids, copying off of that, they should bring back the "Do not try this at home" thing. They should.
Well, they have.
They have it. But do it. Show the clips like how they used to of wrestlers getting hurt. Do not try.
See, even
this at
David
home.
said it. Old school is the way to go. That's old school. Old school
See,
all the way.
I say some new school, but I'm talking about 2013 and lower. That's when I feel like wrestling was good. 2013 and lower. I feel like 2014 and higher was when wrestling started going downhill because all these NXT superstars started joining, and I feel like they were no match for all these big guys and all these veterans in the ring. So like it wouldn't make sense to watch the match because they would just get beat up 1, 2, 3. So
well, Earl Smith says when they ended the territories, they ended the old days. They had the guys that traveled around and built a name. Yes, you're right. Once once the territories were bought, that's it. That was it. That stopped everything. Christopher Brown says here in Canada they do that at the end of every commercial break. Jaden. The do not try this at home. Yes, they do it here as well. So I wish they could bring some good ladder match back.
I wish they could bring.
Thank God for the network. Thank God for the network because the network does show those
back
matches,
a lot of memories.
and that's the only reason why I still have the network because of
matches like that. Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like that. It's a little weird, but Jaden.
Yes.
Give me your final dream match. And what would you involve in it?
Oh man. I would like to see an Evan Bourne go up against an RVD. I would like to see that. They're two high flyers. Those guys are. They flip a lot. All that stuff. So I would like to see them, in a TLC match. Those guys get creative when it comes to matches like that. Especially with, Evan Bourne's crazy backflip. He jumps really high on that backflip. So imagine him, jumping off of like a ladder on the RVD and RVD doing his, 5-star frog splash on him or something like that. That would be an absolutely amazing match.
Okay. Well, we have a few more comments before we go. Earl Smith says, but now NWA, Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, Impact, Evolve, AAA, and NOAH is helping though. Yes, we got new organizations, we got some good people out there, but it will never be like the old school WCW, the old NWA, and the WWF.
Back when World Wrestling Federation.
Exactly. Christopher Brown says, okay, so pick an Impact wrestler against somebody in WWE. Who do you think would be the best match?
Ooh.
I would have to say.
I'm gonna let you
actually, no. I'm gonna bring one to you. He mentioned an Impact wrestler. Does it have to be current or former Impact wrestler? Then I'll answer that question for you. Christopher Brown says, "How about Sami Zayn versus Chavo Guerrero in a ladder match? Laughing my ass off." I would actually see that match.
That would be a nice match.
A lot of people slept on Chavo Guerrero. That's one thing I could say. The man was a cruiserweight, but he was still athletic, and he was a Guerrero.
I feel like he was underrated.
He was a Guerrero. He still knew what he was doing.
He did.
I would actually pay to see that match. And Sami Zayn is just as good as him.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely like to see that.
Sami Zayn is also underrated.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is underrated.
No, it was. I think I would enjoy it. I would definitely enjoy it. So.
Former. He said former dad.
Former. Okay. Wes Briscoe. He was in TNA.
He was in TNA. He was.
Wes Briscoe, and he said a WWE person. I would say Wes Briscoe against Seth Rollins.
Wow. Ooh. Yeah, that's a nice match right there. Two great wrestlers in their companies right now. I seen Wes Briscoe fight.
Oh, sorry, Michael. I'm sorry. Yeah, I called him Christopher Brown. Check me out. Sorry, Mike. Errol Smith says, I would like to see Evan Bourne against Darby Allin and Finn Balor in a tables match. Okay. This is all coming out, man.
I haven't seen Finn Balor in a little while.
But yeah, Michael Robinson, it will be Wes Briscoe against Seth Rollins.
That would be a
that match. And it would be tough to call, man.
It would be
real
tough to call. It would.
He said, "I know, Michael. I just caught that too. Sorry, Christopher. I'm so used to both of you. Like we just going back and forth because with this conversation, man, it's like
it's."
And Michael says he likes it. Wes Briscoe against Seth Rollins. That would be a hell of a match.
That would.
Christopher Daniels against Seth Rollins. That would be another hell of a match. That would be an excellent match. Those two. And it's just amazing. Like, we wish as fans we can see these matches.
But these are only matches that you can put in a video game.
Just put in a video game.
Yeah.
And speaking of video game, we're actually thinking of a concept, me and my son, randomly going live to play 2K20 wrestling, create the dream matches that many people never saw, So we're gonna see how we're gonna work that out if we can get it going. Also, we are also in the works as randomly doing a live video, just come up with a live video and just ask a question, a random wrestling question, and whoever gets it right gets to be a guest on our show. But the person got to answer it within a certain amount of time when we get on the show. So we're going to see how that's going to go. We're still building up on that. We're still working the cobwebs. So remember, speaking of that, June 5th is our next trivia show.
Yes.
So you guys better be there. If you guys got what it takes, if you guys know about professional wrestling, June 5th is our next trivia show. Fans, as always, now we're going to wrap this up, Jaden. As always, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, as it says right here on my t-shirt. As also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Your subscriptions have done great to us. We reached 101 subscribers. We are proud about that. We made that milestone, and it's something it was tough to make. Just 50 alone, it was tough. Mm-hmm. But we made it. So Michael Robinson says, have a good night, guys. Yeah, take it easy, brother. And he says also Wes Briscoe against AJ Styles.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or topics, email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Next week's topic: the biggest pops and boos ever in professional wrestling. This comes from returns, matches, debuts, all over professional wrestling. So, David, everybody have a good night. Thank you, guys. And from myself, Lewis, my co-host, Jaden, and from always my producer and director behind the scenes, the genius of this, my wife, Yesenia. From all of us here, fans, see you next week. By the way, tune in Monday for another double feature watch party. Christopher Brown says you now have 102 subscribers. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you subscribing. A double feature Monday night watch party. We're gonna send that out today. Cast your votes now for that double feature watch party.
Yes.
We will see you then next week. Have a good night, fans.